I can now tell you that America has successfully extracted, exfiltrated, and rescued its second F-15 pilot. Now you will ask, why must the rescue always happen at night while we are sleeping? It is because, particularly for the Americans, they have an advantage for such operations in the night. That was why all through the day of Saturday, they did not make an attempt to rescue the pilot. They waited until it was dark and then they mounted the rescue operation. Why are the Americans advantaged in the night? It is because number one, vision, night goggles. The Americans are particularly kitted extensively with infrared night vision goggles, while the Iranians don't have anything like that. Which means during the day, the Americans can see and the Iranians can see. So the Americans are not conferred the strategic advantage. But the moment it is night time and night falls, the Americans can see, but the Iranians cannot see. That is why the Americans always make a play for such rescue missions in the night under the cover of darkness. The Iranians also, as in the Americans also had a particular advantage that the Iranians did not have, and that is that the beeping beacon that the F-15 fighter pilot held. You see, that beacon will keep transmitting at all times, at least the approximate location of the American fighter jet to the Americans. Not just the folks who have actually come to do the rescuing, but even as far as the US White House situation room. So broadly, they knew where exactly the fighter jet pilot was at any time T. What the problem was, it was actually going into extract him. However, the Iranians had a massive disadvantage in that area. And that disadvantage is because the Iranians were essentially searching for a needle that they could not even identify in a proverbial haystack. Why? Because it's a massive land area here, particularly complicated complicated by mountains, by valleys, by jagged terrain, by ravines, by valleys and trees and all sorts. So the Iranians were essentially hunting, for a soldier they particularly did not know, with no particular technological advantage. So how exactly did the battle, so to say, for the soul of the American F-15 fighter pilot go in the midnight while you guys were asleep? But I woke up because of you. Circa 2 a.m., I opened my eyes and I picked up my phone. What exactly is happening in the war theater in Iran at this time? And I discovered that there was a massive firefight. The Americans came for the rescue mission with everything they could bring. They brought fighter jets,